a press conference on Monday. President Donald Trump made a controversial claim that Iran possesses Tomahawk cruise missiles when questioned about a U.S. missile strike on an Iranian girls' school. This resulted in the deaths of 165 people. Trump denied U.S. responsibility for this strike, arguing that Iran could have used Tomahawk missiles, a weapon manufactured by Raytheon and sold to allied countries. However, there is no evidence to support Iran's possession of these missiles. When pressed by reporters, the president acknowledged that he lacks sufficient knowledge on the matter. The U.S. and Iran have a long-standing tense relationship, with recent tensions escalating over various incidents. Trump's statement could be seen as an attempt to avoid direct responsibility for the strike. This claim is unique to the president and is not supported by evidence from his administration. The situation remains under investigation, and officials are expected to provide further details as the inquiry progresses. The FBI has obtained records related to the 2020 presidential election from Arizona State Senate, following a federal grand jury subpoena. This action comes as part of ongoing investigations into allegations of election fraud in key battleground states. Senate President Warren Peterson handed over the records, which are related to a controversial audit in Maricopa County, after receiving the subpoena. The audit, ordered by legislative Republicans, did not find evidence of widespread fraud, but instead confirmed that former President Joe Biden received 360 more votes than initially stated in the certified results. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays criticized the move, calling it an attempt to weaponize federal law enforcement to support false claims about the 2020 election results. The investigations, which have also included the seizure of records from Georgia's Fulton County earlier this year, continue to raise concerns about the legitimacy of such law enforcement inquiries. The situation is still evolving, with officials on both sides voicing their perspectives on the matter. The National Transportation Safety Board has fired member Todd Inman over alleged misconduct, including drinking on the job and harassment. The firing occurred on Friday, March 3, 2026, and Inman denies the allegations, stating the firing was politically motivated. Inman, a Republican appointed in March 2024 by former President Joe Biden, was involved in major accident investigations. This includes the Madera collision near Washington, D.C., the UPS cargo plane crash in Kentucky. The White House claims the dismissal is justified due to highly concerning reports of inappropriate behavior. The NTSB currently has only 3 members following the unexpected dismissal of Vice Chair Alvin Brown last May. The board will soon welcome American Airlines executive John DeLeo, restoring the full 5-member capacity. With the board now split evenly between the parties, President Trump will have the opportunity to appoint a 3rd Republican member, furthering a pattern of administration actions to dismiss independent agency board members. This development highlights ongoing tensions between political parties and the integrity of independent government agencies. The situation continues to evolve, and Inman has stated he plans to defend his reputation legally. A Kentucky soldier has become the 7th U.S. military casualty in the ongoing conflict with Iran. Army SJ Benjamin N. Pennington, 26, died Sunday at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia after being wounded in an attack on March 1. Pennington, who joined the Army shortly after high school, was stationed in Saudi Arabia as part of the U.S. military's response to the conflict that began on February 28. He was assigned to the 1 Space Battalion, 1 Space Brigade of the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command, and was posthumously promoted to Staff Sergeant by the Army. The community and state leaders have expressed deep sorrow over Pennington's death, highlighting his service and dedication. His hometown of Glendale, a small town in Kentucky, has rallied around his family, acknowledging the impact of his loss on the local community. This marks a somber moment as the conflict continues to escalate, with each casualty deeply affecting those who knew and loved the fallen soldier. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has condemned recent U.S. strikes against his country, declaring them a failure and vowing to continue fighting. Speaking from Tehran, Araghchi expressed that Iran will resist as long as it takes unless there is a permanent end to the ongoing conflict. Conflict, now in its 10th day, has seen Iran respond to attacks with its own strikes, hitting multiple oil facilities in neighboring nations. The most recent U.S. strike on a girls' school in Manab, southern Iran, has left over 170 civilians dead. Araghchi rejected U.S. claims of responsibility, accusing the United States of illegal aggression. He emphasized Iran's right to self-defense against what he described as unjustified attacks. In contrast, the U.S. maintains it has no responsibility for the Manab incident and continues to deny any involvement. The ongoing attacks and Iran's determination to retaliate could further destabilize the region and impact global oil markets. Both sides remain unyielding in their positions, with the United States and Israel continuing to strike Iranian targets while Iran asserts its right to defend itself against what it perceives as illegal aggression. The situation remains tense with no immediate resolution in sight, as both sides show no signs of backing down. Oil prices spiked to near $120 a barrel overnight on March 9, 2026, before falling sharply to around $87 by the end of trading, driven by fears of prolonged conflict and supply disruptions. Gasoline prices have risen nearly 50 cents per gallon since the Iran conflict began, raising concerns for consumers. The volatility in oil markets has been amplified by the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of global oil and LNG pass. Energy experts warn that an extended period of closure and damage to infrastructure could lead to severe price hikes and potential global economic repercussions. The fear is that the conflict could mirror past crises such as the 1970s oil crisis, with severe impacts on financial markets and potentially pushing the world into recession. Daniel Yergin, vice chairman of S&P Global and a renowned energy expert, cautions that the situation is still fluid. While some tanker traffic resumed, most shipping companies are still wary of attacks and are holding back. This uncertainty could continue to cause fluctuations in oil prices and impact global economies, particularly in Asia, where over 80% of the oil from the strait goes. The situation remains volatile, with ongoing discussions among U.S. and Western countries about releasing oil from strategic reserves to stabilize prices. As the conflict's duration and intensity remain uncertain, the global economy is bracing for potential long-term disruptions. Federal prosecutors have charged 2 men with attempting to support ISIS after they allegedly brought explosive devices to a protest in New York City over the weekend. Ibrahim Kami and Emir Balat are facing charges that include attempting to provide material support to a terrorist organization and using a weapon of mass destruction. The homemade explosive devices were discovered outside Mayor Zoran Mamdani's official residence on March 7, 2026. During a counter-protest to an anti-Islamic demonstration organized by far-right activist Jake Lang. The devices did not detonate, and the suspects were taken into custody without incident. According to Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, the plot was inspired by ISIS extremist ideology. Balat told investigators he intended to carry out an attack even more devastating than the Boston Marathon bombing. This incident highlights the ongoing security challenges faced by major cities in the United States and underscores the potential severity of terrorist threats inspired by foreign organizations. Authorities are working to ensure the safety of the public and to investigate any potential connections or broader networks involved in the plot. The situation remains under investigation, and officials continue to assess the security implications for New York City and beyond. President Donald Trump issued a new warning on Monday, stating that the United States may strike additional key targets in Iran if necessary. The president's comments came during a press conference at his golf resort outside Miami. Trump emphasized that the ongoing conflict with Iran will end soon, but noted that the U.S. retains the option to target critical infrastructure. He indicated that over 5,000 targets have already been struck by U.S. and Israeli forces, with many of these targets significantly impacting Iran's military capabilities. The president highlighted that the remaining targets are crucial and their destruction would have a severe impact on Iran's ability to wage war. The president's remarks come as both military and diplomatic efforts continue to resolve the conflict. Following a series of attacks, and counterattacks over the past week. Trump's statement leaves open the possibility of further military action, suggesting that the U.S. considers its current objectives not fully met. The situation remains fluid, with the potential for further developments as both sides assess their positions. President Donald Trump met with House Republicans in Miami today, urging them to pass the Save America Act, a bill that includes voter ID requirements and provisions targeting transgender individuals in sports. The legislation is seen as a key component of Trump's strategy for the upcoming midterm elections amid growing economic concerns and recent military actions in Iran. During the meeting, Trump emphasized the importance of the Save America Act, arguing that it will help Republicans maintain their majority in Congress. The bill's provisions, including proof of citizenship for voting and restrictions on transgender athletes, align with Trump's broader political agenda. However, the bill faces significant hurdles in the Senate, where Democrats hold a narrow majority. The political backdrop includes rising oil prices and ongoing military tensions following recent actions in Iran. These developments have raised concerns among Republicans that the focus on foreign policy may detract from domestic issues such as affordability and economic stability. These are top priorities for many voters. The situation remains fluid as Republicans weigh the political implications of the Save America Act and the ongoing military action in Iran. Focus moving forward will be on how these issues affect voter sentiment ahead of the midterms. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin held a one-hour phone call on Monday to discuss the ongoing conflict in Iran and other geopolitical issues. The conversation was described by Putin's foreign affairs advisor, Yuri Ushakov, as frank and businesslike. During the call, Putin expressed concerns over the destabilization of the Middle East and its impact on global energy supplies, noting that Russia remains committed to being a reliable supplier of oil and gas to its partners outside the European Union. Ushakov also stated that both leaders exchanged views on the situation in Venezuela within the context of the global oil market. The discussion between the two leaders is part of ongoing diplomatic efforts to address the Iran conflict and its broader implications for regional stability and global energy markets. The call reflects the interconnectedness of geopolitical issues and the efforts to find diplomatic solutions. The situation remains under close observation, with both sides emphasizing the importance of maintaining stability in the Middle East and ensuring reliable energy supplies for their partners. President Donald Trump addressed House Republicans at a policy retreat near Miami, Florida, on Monday, discussing the administration's recent military actions in the Middle East and his stance on Iran's threat to the United States. In his speech, Trump defended the decision to launch military operations in the Middle East, asserting that it was a necessary and short-term measure to address a looming threat from Iran. He claimed that Iran was preparing to attack the U.S. within a week. This claim was not supported by U.S. intelligence officials. This privately told congressional staff that there was no indication of an imminent Iranian threat. The president also addressed concerns over rising oil prices, stating that his administration is taking steps to bring down prices. However, despite Trump's assertions, gas prices have risen by 20% in the past month, according to the American Automobile Association. Trump is scheduled to hold a news conference later today to provide further details on his administration's policies regarding Iran and to answer questions from reporters. Uber has launched a nation-wide feature in the U.S. allowing women riders and drivers to exclusively match with each other. The feature faces a class action lawsuit in California from male drivers who argue it discriminates against them. Rival ride-hailing company Lyft also faces a similar lawsuit over its women-only rider option. The nationwide rollout of Uber's Women Drivers feature was first piloted in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Detroit last year. The company says about one-fifth of its U.S. drivers are women. The new feature aims to address safety concerns, but is being challenged legally under California's UNRRA Act, which prohibits sex discrimination by businesses. Both Uber and Lyft have long faced criticism over their safety records. This includes incidents of sexual assaults reported by both passengers and drivers. Legal challenges in California argue that the women-only feature violates the UNRRA Act and gives female drivers access to the entire pool of passengers. Meanwhile, male drivers compete for a smaller pool. Plaintiffs claim that this reinforces the gender stereotype that men are more dangerous than women. Uber maintains that the feature serves a strong public interest in enhancing safety. The company points to reports showing a decrease in sexual assault incidents in recent years. That's despite ongoing concerns about rider and driver safety. The situation remains under legal scrutiny, with both companies facing significant challenges in implementing these safety measures. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres is calling for a global shift towards renewable energy as the conflict in Iran disrupts oil and gas supplies. The Secretary-General argues that homegrown renewable energy offers a stable and secure alternative to fossil fuels, which are vulnerable to geopolitical disruptions. Guterres emphasized that renewable energy has never been cheaper or more accessible. This provides a viable solution to the current energy crisis caused by the Iran war. He pointed out that unlike fossil fuels, renewable energy resources cannot be blockaded or weaponized. This makes them a safer bet for countries seeking to diversify their energy sources. Some experts, however, are skeptical about the effectiveness of this approach. They cite past failures during the Ukraine conflict, where some European nations turned to dirtier energy sources like coal when natural gas supplies were disrupted. Stanford University climate scientist Rob Jackson noted that relying on nationalistic impulses to push for renewable energy might not yield the desired long-term results. Despite these doubts, the push for renewable energy aims to reduce dependence on imported fossil fuels, thereby enhancing national energy security and stability. This shift could also have significant implications for global carbon emissions, potentially mitigating the economic impacts of geopolitical conflicts. As the situation continues to evolve, it remains to be seen whether the current conflict will present a genuine opportunity for countries to shift towards renewable energy on a larger scale. A major fire in Glasgow has forced the closure of Scotland's busiest train station, Glasgow Central, disrupting rail services throughout the city. The fire started Sunday afternoon in a vape shop and quickly spread to a 4-story building adjacent to the station. This causes significant damage. The Scottish Fire and Rescue Service reported no injuries, but the fire has severely impacted the station's operations. The historic building, dating back to 1851, was extensively damaged, leaving only the facade standing. Rail operators announced that the station will remain closed for at least another day, with the reopening timeline uncertain. Paul Sweeney, a member of the Scottish Parliament, described the damage as extensive, comparing it to the aftermath of World War II bombings. First Minister John Sweeney stated that while it is a relief that no one was harmed, the damage is substantial and the disruption will be significant. The Scottish government has pledged financial support to aid in recovery efforts. The situation is ongoing, with services expected to remain disrupted until the station can be safely reopened.